Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be a little bit different to other videos on our channel. You're going to not see so much of me for the next 2 or 3 months because I have something that I need to tell you guys. And I've told my close family and I've told a few close friends, and you're kind of the third lot of people I'm telling. You know, we've grown this channel, myself and Ollie, over the last 2 years, and many of you have been on the journey with us, and you've actually become like a family to us. I often spend time reading through all the comments when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning, and you know, a lot of you have got to know me I guess quite well over that time. So what it is, about 8 or 9 years ago, I had a lump appear under my right breast, and I went to hospital in the UK and I had a biopsy done, and that come back fine. Anyway, 2 or 3 years went by, nothing changed, it was still there. And so I went back and got another biopsy, and that was about, I don't know, 4 years ago now. It was actually not long before I left the UK to permanently come and live in China. And I was told that there's nothing to worry about. The biopsy came back all clear again, and I was told it was something called gynecomastia, which I looked up, and it's kind of a enlargement of breast tissue in men, and it's very uncommon in men, but that was what it was. And the doctor at that time says, well, if anything changes with it, go and have it re-examined. Now, about 3 or 4 months ago, while here in Shenzhen, it did start changing. It got a little bit bigger, and it started to sort of like push through the skin, and it actually kind of broke the skin. So I went off to the hospital, and I was seen by a doctor here in Shenzhen, and he suggested I have first of all an ultrasound, which I had. And then they seemed a bit concerned about it, so they suggested I have a biopsy, and there was me thinking, because I'd previously had 2 biopsies in the UK, there was me thinking, oh, it's just a kind of routine thing, there won't be any problem. So I had the biopsy, and that was a bit of an experience. There was no pain at all, but I sort of got a bit hot and a bit sweaty, and felt as though I was going to faint, but I didn't in the end. But I felt as though I was going to, because they stick quite a large needle into my breast tissue and take a piece of tissue out to analyse. Anyway, I waited 2 or 3 days, and I went back to the hospital, and I'll be honest with you, I was absolutely gobsmacked. It was malignant. It was a cancer underneath my right breast. So I have actually got breast cancer, and this, as you can imagine, is very, very, very rare in men. So I booked an appointment to see a doctor in the breast clinic again. I went and saw that doctor. I asked lots and lots of questions, and I was really pleased with the responses I got. Anyway, that doctor, in the biopsy, they also took a biopsy of my lymph gland under my arm, and I'm glad to say that came back clear. There was no abnormalities in the lymph gland. Anyway, the doctor advised me to go and have a PET scan, which I did, and I'm glad I did that, because it actually showed that the cancer is confined to the tumour underneath my breast. So then I had a lot of thinking to do. Thinking, okay, do I have it treated here in China, or as a UK citizen and taxpayer, do I return to the UK? So I thought long and hard for a couple of days, and I finally decided that I will have treatment here. Now, the treatment here will cost somewhere between 100 and 150,000 RMB. Now, if I return to the UK as a UK citizen, I'd receive treatment completely free of charge. And the level of care and treatment in the UK is absolutely excellent. I have no qualms with that at all. But there's a number of things that sort of made me make my decision to have treatment here. So the first thing is that because of the COVID situation, it's not simple to travel back to the UK. There's not a huge amount of flights. I would have to quarantine when I got back to the UK. And then looking online, in 2019, before COVID started, there was a sort of time to get treatment for breast cancer of around 60 days in the UK. That's sort of 2 months, just a little 2 months, a little over 2 months. And I really suspect that's probably a bit longer now, because there'll be a backlog of cases in the hospitals, whereas here in China I can get treatment almost immediately. So that's what I decided to do. I've been attending the Hong Kong University Hospital in Shenzhen. It's near Shenzhen Bay Park, and I've found so far the level of care and the sort of treatment and advice from the doctors has been absolutely fantastic. I've read a lot online, and everything they're telling me corroborates with what they're saying at the hospital. So I feel kind of relieved that many of the doctors there speak very good English as well, which is very, very comforting. So the way things will go is because the tumour is quite large, it's about 3 centimetres by 4 centimetres. I was actually hoping they could operate and remove the tumour pretty much straight away, but because the tumour is considered to be quite large, unlike women, men don't have a lot of skin here, so they're concerned that there is not enough skin to seal back over the wound once they've removed the tumour. So what they're proposing is a course of chemotherapy, and that is in the hope of shrinking the tumour down to a smaller size in order that they can cut it out and still have enough skin to cover the wound. So very shortly, I've gone through loads of tests. They've tested my heart and my kidneys and all that kind of thing to make sure that I can stand the chemotherapy. I am kind of worried about chemotherapy because I read a lot of sort of there's a chance I might lose my hair, you lose your appetite, you possibly feel sick and nausea a lot of the time. So I'm really not looking forward to that. And the chemotherapy I'm having initially will be for a period of 2 months, and I think I'm having 4 cycles over a 2-month period. So every 2 weeks I will have a dose of chemotherapy, and the first cycle will start really, really soon. So you might not see that much of me now. Ollie will sort of still be producing content for the channel. I really hope to be producing some content too. And in fact, as I mentioned earlier, the cost of the treatment here will be somewhere between 100 and 150,000 RMB. And I'm going to put our donation code up on the screen. You're under no obligation to donate anything, and if you don't, that's fine. I am a guy that's getting a bit older, and I am eating into my sort of pension funds. Not only have I got to pay for the treatment, but there'll obviously be some loss of income because I won't be able to sort of do anything here. One of the things that chemotherapy brings is it reduces your white blood cells, which means you're much more prone to catching infection. So during that time I won't be able to travel anywhere and stuff like that, so I'm hoping, Holly. But yeah, as I say, I'd really appreciate, you know, if you could donate, but it's cool if you can't. You know, I really love all of you guys. You know, you've followed our journey. As I say, there is no obligation, but I will put the codes on the screen. I'm hoping as much as possible to sort of record my journey, because I think it will be very interesting to see, and I hope the journey will enable in the future other people who also suffer from breast cancer to be able to see what the process is. So I will, as much as possible, try to record things when I'm having chemotherapy at the hospital and such like, although I'm not sure what the rules are there. But I'll kind of try and sort of upload content, as you know, on a fairly regular basis if I'm feeling up to it. But as I said, Ollie will be still doing. I'm really disappointed. I was really looking forward to it. We were going on a project with CRI in September where we were going to visit the Winter Olympics venues, but sadly I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm going to be pretty much sort of bound to home and hospital visits for the next 2 or 3 months now. All being well, after that 2 months of chemotherapy, the tumour will have shrank enough to be removed by surgery. So immediately after the chemotherapy I'll go and visit the surgeon again, and they will assess if it's shrank enough that they can remove it. But as I say, I do want to share the journey with everybody. I wanted to update you. Ollie's been, you know, he's standing by me. All my family and friends are wishing me all the best. I miss them so much. You know, once this is done and sorted and I'm all good again, I'll be back out there making videos, and I'll also go back to the UK to visit my family there. I have my granddaughter in the UK who I haven't even seen yet. She's about 6 months old now, and I haven't seen her, and I haven't seen my parents for such a long time, so I'm desperately missing them, and I really want to see them as well. Anyway, enough babbling. The next update I give you, you'll probably see. Oh, but before that, you will see some videos that we already recorded. I recorded 3 or 4 videos with Matt from the Gyro Nation, so they're coming. And then there's some videos when I was in Beijing last time, and also some videos when I went to Four Sisters Mountain with Abby from CGTN. So you will see those, but you won't see any more from me on tours and that until after my chemotherapy and surgery is finished. And I will, as I say, try and bring stuff on a sort of fairly regular basis, but different people react differently to chemotherapy, so I'm really not sure how I'll be feeling, but I'll do my best. But anyway, I wanted to share that news with you guys, and you know, anything in your comments, if anybody has any advice, if anybody's experienced breast cancer before, I'd love to hear in the comments. I will have a little bit more time hopefully now to respond to comments being at home. But anyway, as always, for now, take care.